Friends, we may readily understand that persons with disability are not really disabled persons, but persons who are differently abled. In this video, we are trying to understand how the legislature tried to provide the differently abled persons with a level playing field with the able-bodied people, and also remove the shackles that prevent them from having an effective discourse with the society as such. I am Advocate Faisal. One can perhaps say that the legislature or the lawmakers have improved on the earlier legislation to provide the disabled students particularly, and also the school children and the job seekers among the disabled ones better facilities so that they could pace their steps in line with the able-bodied people. When it comes to elementary education, it is provided that children between 6 to 16 years of age shall have free education, and in the higher education scene, students having disability will be provided, or seats, at least 5% of the seats shall be set apart for student with disability, and there shall also be a relaxation in the upper age of 5 years when it comes to admission to the institutions of higher education. The legislature has provided that at least 4% of the total vacancies in a government institution shall be set apart for those persons having disability, suffering not less than 40% of disabilities, and certified as such by the certifying authority. Now, out of the 4%, 1% shall go to person who is blind, 1% to person who is deaf, and 1% to a person who suffers from locomotor disability impairment, and the rest 1% will go to one having autism or multiple disability. Like I said before, the legislature has fixed 40% to be the qualifying mark, so to say, for a person to be referred to as having disability. And even persons who suffer from physical, mental, intellectual and locomotor impairment will be referred to as persons with disability. And even persons who are totally dependent on others for their day-to-day activities also come. The minimum should be 40%, not less than 40%, as decided by the legislature and certified as such. The legislature in its wisdom has provided that for a person to be qualified as a differently abled person, he or she should at least have 40% disability. There are persons who suffer from physical, mental, intellectual and sensory impairment, and persons who also suffer from high support needs, who are dependent on others for going through their day-to-day activities. These persons also do qualify as disabled persons, coming within the purview of the legislation as such. The legislature in its wisdom has provided that for a person to be qualified as a differently abled person, he or she should at least have 40% disability. There are persons who suffer from physical, mental, intellectual and sensory impairment, and persons who also suffer from high support needs, who are dependent on others for going through their day-to-day activities. These persons also do qualify as disabled persons, coming within the purview of the legislation as such. Every government or the private establishment having on its roll more than 20 employees, the head of such institution or establishment has to make sure that no employee who is disabled in his institution is discriminated against, if he comes across such instances, it will be his duty of the head of the institution to report to the executive magistrate or the chief commissioner. Every such establishment or institution will also have to keep a record of the number of employees who are disabled and the date from which they have been employed as such in the institution. Also, the name, gender and address of such employees, nature of disability that they are suffering from, and the nature of work that they undertake, and the kind of facilities that the institution provides to such employees. Now, these records should be made available to the authorities as and when they are required by the head of the institution or the establishment, as the case may be. Again, every public institution or a private establishment having 20 or more persons on its roll, 20 or more people working under them who are employed, will have to make sure that equal opportunity policy details are provided in their websites or published at the office premises. The details shall pertain to the facilities provided to persons who are disabled. Number 2, the list of posts identified for persons with disability. Number 3, the manner in which the selection will be made to such posts for persons with disability. Number 4, the provision for assistive devices and barrier-free environment provided to the persons with disability. And number 5, the liaison officers provided for recruitment of persons with disability. Now, it is also provided that institutions which are having less than 20 employees on its roll shall also provide facilities for the persons with disability. So, all in all, we may read that in totality, all the institutions have to make sure that there are no barriers when it comes to a disabled person having access to its office and its premises. Every government establishment shall appoint a gazetted officer as its grievance redressal officer with reference to disabled persons. Such officer shall maintain a register of complaints. Now, the register itself shall contain the date of complaint, the name of the complainant, the place of incident, the persons or establishment against whom the complaint has been given, gist of the complaint, summary of the complaint, documentary evidence if any, disposal date when the case was disposed, and the date of disposal of appeal if any before the district level committee. Now, every institution or establishment where if it comes across an incident of abuse or mistreatment, maltreatment against persons of disability, the matter should be reported to the executive magistrate. The executive magistrate has powers to rescue such persons of disability and rehabilitate and also provide maintenance to such persons. This power of the executive magistrate is in addition to instances of offences under Indian Penal Code where the authority is the police, where the police has powers to arrest and take measures against the persons accused in such cases. Person with disability has a right to remove a person providing support to him, even though such person may be a blood relation. Again, a person with disability can approach a district court to have a guardian, a limited guardian appointed in his favor to carry out his functions, provided the district court allows. As far as the certificate of disability is concerned, the person with disability can approach the government hospital, medical authorities to have the same issued, or where the where the person had undergone treatment, or the medical authority in the district in which he resides. The application for such certificate shall be accompanied by proof of residence, passport size, 2 passport size photographs, and Aadhaar number. Persons with a disability have proved by their efforts and industry that they are second to none in the matter of showing their talents and other abilities vis-a-vis the other members of the society. Friends, hope this video has provided some insights into the world of differently abled and measures that the legislature has provided to them.